Hi, hello, and welcome. It's your girl, M. Trey, in the house, y'all. Yeah. And I am here today to talk to you about. Hi, hello, and welcome. I was just checking my broadcast there, so thank you for your patience. This is a very important conversation. I've seen this theme happening over and over, so I wanted to come on here to YouTube and just to share my experience about Mercury in retrograde that was happening concurrently with Mars in retrograde, which Mars in retrograde was going on since like October through to just ended on January 18th. Now, first and foremost, yeah, January 12th. And then Mars in okay, Mars in retrograde. Mars in retrograde ended. I'm trying to get this right, so just get with me here. Okay. Um, Let me explain to you who I am first, okay? I am Michelle M. Trey Hollis. I'm a TEDx speaker, co-author of international best-selling book Harmony and Chakras, Volume 2. That was from last year, 2021. I attracted both of those opportunities into my life by being confident, being my creative self, manifesting, law of attraction, however you want to call it. Really, I like to more say it's the law of assumption. Um, and why does this matter to you? Because I am actually now a sales confidence and self mastery coach. Because when you learn how to master your time, energy, resources, and your emotions, you'll more confidently sell your shift to the world. Okay, I like to say sell your shift, but you know what I'm you know what I'm also saying there. But what we're finding, what I'm finding, and why coming on here is because I'm in a lot of communities. I work with a lot of people. I know a lot of people, and I myself personally went through a shift. These last few days of Mercury and retrograde have I had like kind of some really crazy stuff happen to me. And I'm hearing the same story from a couple other people. So I wanted to come on here and say, if you're an empath, if you are an empathic leader, and I don't mean like the way that Gary Vee talks about it, which I love Gary Vee, don't get me wrong, but and I'm not saying that Gary Vee means it this way, but I think a lot of people confuse empathy with compassion. Being a compassionate, be kind, be empathic. But no, empathic means that you can put yourself in other people's shoes and feel their come from. Like you have a sensitivity of understanding where they're coming from. So just because you can sense that an MFer is trying you, that doesn't mean you don't have to let your heart bleed for that person. You can be like, oh, the way they're coming at me or the energy they're coming is off. I feel that. I can't put my finger on it sometimes exactly what and where it's coming from, but I can sense that the energy is off because I have the ability to understand somebody else's point of view. Now, a healthy empath, a healthy empath will know, will be able to empathize, okay, and even sympathize. They'll be able to say, hey, you know what? You were having a bad day yesterday. That's okay. Now, a narcissist, okay, and I'm only going to bring up this narcissist because I really feel like, man, we got to understand that being empathic is much deeper than just being sympathetic for people. Those are two different words. A lot of times I'm hearing these interchanged, and people are thinking that empathy is being able to sympathize. That's not true. You can sympathize with someone and not be empathic. You can empathize, but not be sympathetic. Okay? And you can be empathic and sympathetic and have compassion. And you can have compassion for someone. I would almost say that you can, it's almost it it is less likely that you could be compassionate and not be empathic. Okay, but you can be sympathetic. You can sympathize with someone and not be empathic. In fact, that's exactly what um, covert narcissists and narcissists do very well. They have the ability. They have the ability to manipulate. Okay, but they're doing it from they're very intellectual, so they can sympathize, but they don't have empathic enough traits for them to really be able to see their faults. And that is a, now I am no, first of all, or a millionth of all, I am not a medical doctor. Okay. But there's a big reason why I'm bringing this up when it comes to the ending of Mars and when it comes to Mars going direct and Mercury going direct. Okay. I'm no astrologer either, although I am here sitting on top of the world on the dark side of the moon or whatever. I guess it's on the light side because you can see Earth. But here's the deal, folks. I've been hearing that people have been having, especially light workers, people that have been doing the work, that these past few days have been really messed up. I've seen it in a couple of the communities I'm in, and I want to explain to you what happened to me. And this really messed me up at first, and it still hurts my heart that it happened. But I was on my way home and I hit a cat. I didn't just hit a cat, the cat ran in front of my car, dude, literally like dove. Like I remember it like it, I mean, it was just a couple days ago. Okay. At the tail end of of Mercury in retrograde, I'm driving home, and here's the deal. I'm completely and utterly sober. I haven't drank in months. I haven't done drugs in years. You know what I mean? That's not exactly true, but I haven't done drugs in a very long time, like almost a year. You know what I mean? Like completely. And then even before that, I wasn't I had tapered down so much. So when I say I haven't done it in years, what I mean is I haven't been like on the drugs in years, but more importantly, I don't do them anymore. I don't know anybody. I'm not connected in that arena. You know what I mean? But I want to be authentic and honest. You know what I'm saying? That's why I corrected myself, because although I have, and I just want to be fully transparent. But for sure, I was not at all. I wasn't even on my phone. That's what I'm really like. I hate to say proud of, because I'm not proud. There's nothing to be happy about. There's no real silver lining about hurting an animal. Not even to mention actually killing one and hitting it with your car. Like there's no silver lining in that. In that. Okay? Just like there's no real silver lining in not exactly knowing what the hell happens when we die and what we're even here for, ultimately. There's really no silver lining in your mom, when your father, your mom, your sister, your brother passing away, your kids just dying from however they die. There's no real silver lining in that. So there comes a point in time where we have to be in touch with our mortality in a way that's super honest. Now, I didn't set out to hit that cat, obviously. Well, I don't want to say obviously, because there are crazy people in the world, but that brings me to another point I'll get to in a moment. I didn't set out to hurt that cat. I didn't. I'm trying to scrunch my forehead less because you can kind of see that. Anyway, I didn't set out to hit the cat. It was the worst feeling in the world. I literally had just turned a corner on a regular street and I was driving. And remember it vividly. And I try not to think too much about it, but I wanted to share this with you all because I want you to understand. something, what I gained from this situation, in the hopes that perhaps it will help you. And that's why I'm sharing this. I'm not proud of it, obviously. I'm not using this for brownie points or for any other reason, but just sharing this experience, hoping that whatever you're going through maybe hopefully won't be as bad, but even if it is or worse, that there is redemption in it. And I believe it is tied to this astrological going direct. Okay. Because those of us who are doing the work, and if we're really doing the work, man, we get to realize that life and death is a serious, these are serious transitions in life. Yes, it's fun to think of manifesting, a beautiful, wonderful life. But if we're really light workers and we're really spiritual on the spiritual path, it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. This whole life experience, the true abundance and liberation is never ends. It never stops. So full transparency as well. I'm still building my business. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm really building this to, like, I see that this is a long game for me. This is really what I'm going to do. I'm starting to get clients, getting people to come to me. I All of the relationships that I have grown in my life are all making more sense now. I'm going deeper into these relationships, and I think, I don't know about you, but for me as a creative who has been building her business and who has never had a problem skipping around, I was integral in the hip hop scene. I was, in the underground hip hop scene in the late 90s. I was big into that. And I know some of the biggest underground artists and people that have gone on to even skyrocket to bigger fame. I went to high school with activists like Sean King, who's doing phenomenal things and really, has done a lot to push things forward when the whole George Floyd thing and the whole George Floyd's death happened, and Breonna Taylor and his activism paired with other people really led to a lot of changes, like on a national scale, like real change. Whatever side of the coin you're on, when somebody is doing that level of work where they are some of the first people who are able to get real people held accountable for killing people, and that level of faith and that level of dedication and that type of sacrifice. But we can't be out here being light workers and thinking that we're just gonna do some simple healings and get a mansion, like that. Do we really want that to be our reward? That's the question that's coming up for us. The question is, what are we really in this for? So here's what happened. So this cat runs in front of my car. I hit it. I'm like, oh my God, dude, it was like, ah! Oh, I just saw it's like it dove straight from my tires. Freaking weird. Never seen anything like it. I'm 41 years old, and all the years that when I was younger, that I acted the mother freaking donkey out there and just was being so reckless and all this stuff. Never hit anything in my life. I hit a squirrel once. I hit a squirrel once. I did hit a squirrel once. And then I wasn't messed up either, but I may have been tired. You know what I mean? But never a cat. Somebody's cat. I started driving. I'm like, I ran right over it. I'm like, oh my God. It was so horrible. It was so terrible, man. I felt so bad. It was the worst ever. It was the worst ever. And I drove and I'm like, okay. So my mind started playing tricks on me. Maybe it was just a squirrel. Maybe it's just a squirrel. And I thought, these are things I'm thinking. These are all the things, because thoughts just start coming up. Maybe it was just a squirrel. I'm just gonna think it was a squirrel. But then I'm like, dude, I can't leave that cat lay there. I'm like, what if it's bleeding? What if it's still alive and it has a chance? And I'm just gonna And I said, you know what? First I was gonna call my mom. Like, what's my mom gonna do? She wouldn't even care. I hate to say it, but And now I'm like, dude, you know what? And it was like 11:30 at night, so it's not like I could, and I'm like, there's no lights on, but what if, I mean, this cat could be from anywhere. I said, no. I went back, turned my headlights on it, and I called the police. I know that's extra, but I looked up animal control, nothing to be found. So I called the police and I said, hey, I know I'm probably calling the wrong number. I mean, I said, I know this isn't probably the right number to call. I said, but I don't know who else to call. And I said, please, can you please let me know like who I can call about this? And he said, well, is the cat still alive? I said, I don't think so. Because when I did drive back, it was just laying there. And but to be honest, I'm just going to be full disclosure. I was too shook. I didn't want to go and look at it. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't go look at it, but it wasn't moving at all. So I called the police, and the police dispatcher said, you know what? If it's in the middle of the road, he said I'm going to call the police. He said I'll call an officer. I'm dispatching an officer so they can go and remove it. And I said, please do that. At least give the guy some dignity and make sure like no other cars are running it over and stuff. So that's what they did. And even though it was traumatizing to me at the time, and I feel so horrible because that's not, I never, dude, I'm the type of person that when I kill a roach, I'm like, sorry, just because I'm like, ugh, but I don't want to kill you. It's just me recognizing the sentientness of things. And so I just said, you know what? I don't know if sentientness is a word. I was gonna try to roll over it, but I don't know. But I'm like, oh, that's somebody's cat. But I didn't know whose it was. But I'm like, I shouldn't be going to deliver the news at no 11:30 at night because I do need to make sure that I'm safe. And who knows what kind of reaction they'll have. You just never know. You just never know. You know. But I did the best I could under the circumstances, and I did the best I could to give the cat dignity. You know what I mean? To honor the cat's life and to treat it with some respect. And although if I could take it back, I would. Out of all the years that I've been crazy wild out here, never ever anything happened like that. So there were a couple things that came up for me that I'm hoping can help you, and that's why I'm telling you this story. Number one, you can do everything right. I mean, I've quit my addiction. I cut my ties off to anyone that I don't even know anybody around here that even I would even think about asking or going to. I don't mess with them. I don't get high anymore. You know what I mean? Is it hard? Yes. I'm not going to lie. It is hard, but I do it because I care about my future and my life. And I know how that story ends. And I'd rather try for something better. You see what I'm saying? Because I already lost everything in going that direction. So no matter how much I ever have the urge, I'm like, I'm not gonna. That's dumb. That would be dumb. Period. I'd rather create. I'd rather see what I've never seen before for the rest of my life. I'm 41. I'd rather see what I've never seen before the rest of my life. I don't want to sit in the same city on the same block the rest of my life. That just is not that's not my idea of a good time. So what I realized is okay, a couple things here. No matter how much that I care, no matter how much I change, no matter how well how much I grow and expand and I develop and I make better choices. I wasn't on my phone, nothing. Like my conscious, here we go. My conscious is clear. My conscious is clear. That's a burden. There are no burdens. My heart is not burdened at all because I simply was not, it was not in, there was nothing I could have really done. And that is powerful. The, of course, but I mourned the cat's life in with integrity. I acted in integrity. That's the other thing. That's why I don't have a burden about it. That's why I'm able to talk about it. That's why there's no guilt or shame associated with it. I've done so much work that I realize I've integrated all the work I do. We're not out here doing healing work for nothing, y'all. Here's the news flash. The healing work is not because things are going to be roses. They're because we're going to deal with real mother freaking shift. And did what was integritous to my soul because I know my soul cares. I know that I am wise enough to know and empathic enough to feel that cat's pain. That's empathy. There we go. That's how it's coming full circle. To be empathic. Now, if you're not empathic, then you may not have that big of a burden about it. And good for you. I'm not even here to tell you that you're wrong. If you're not empathic and you didn't feel or sense yourself being able to at being one with our earth and with the animals and things like that, but I am. I can't help that. And the more I try to fake that, the harder my life is. And that's why this video is for the empath, the true empath, because the true empath is going to feel really, really, really bad about that. But I'm here to tell you that we're all transitioning anyways. We don't know how we're going to go. Okay. But what I do know and I do believe is that we have the ability to create an incredible world. And we have the ability to liberate people. And it starts with us. And it starts with what we do when others aren't watching to honor ourself, our inner child, our soul. That's the opportunity. And so I did the best I could with what I had at the time. I called the police. They said they could send someone to remove the cat from the road, and that made me feel like, man, I was responsible. So what that brought up for me the next day, I'm thinking, man, if I care this much about a cat, what kind of psychopathy is our planet going through to where we don't care when a person gets murdered by the police or by each other or whatever, when we are so desensitized that someone can sit and tase a grown human being to death and be so desensitized that they don't feel a thing. That's concerning. And that's what we're here as light workers to address. That is the work. I never want to be so desensitized that that's okay. That I don't believe that we need to, that there's some serious changes that need to be made in our country and in our world. And it's my belief that we have the power to do it all, but we can't keep trying to fight this fight within the same system that was very much designed to suppress our supernatural abilities. Can't have both. The more we try to fight the system, the more they have us right where they want us. It's my friend Brian Scott. I love him so much, and he speaks on. He has the Reality Revolution, and he read a book on there that he reads a lot of info, great stuff. But he read a book called Reality Transurfing, which is an amazing book by a Russian physicist. It is so good. It's so good, and he talks about the energy pendulums. And the energy pendulums are designed to do just that, suck our energy, to deplete us of our energy for no reason but just to keep the energy pendulum going. And it's up to us. Like, we can't wait as our brain. I heard something from Bashar, who's a channeler, amazing, definitely listen to him. But he said, when we try to figure everything out with our brain, we are giving our brains more than they were designed to do. We cannot solve each and every single issue that we see come across our screen. It's not natural for us to even know half the stuff that's going on. This is a new phenomenon for us. So it feels we're being inundated, and it's what it's doing is paralyzing us. So just because I don't speak on something doesn't mean I'm not aware. Just because I'm speaking high vibration, this is for the light workers out there. Just because I'm speaking, it's not our job to fight for everything, because that's taking our energy away from creating what can be new. That's our job, and that is our power. And every time we focus our energy on every situation that comes up, look, listen, the just for by nature of what it's supposed to do, they're going to do okay, for instance, in Florida, they just banned African American studies in Florida. You know why they're doing such drastic things? So that we focus on that shit. Who cares? We shouldn't care what's being taught. And this is gonna unpopular opinion. We shouldn't care what's being taught in Florida, because we should be teaching our people anyway. That system is not designed for our kids to really learn anything truly valuable about this life experience. So fuck the school systems, bro. Let's each one teach one. Like, we can't have it both ways. We cannot expect a system that was designed to oppress us to ever make the decisions that's going to be for the betterment of the people, ever, ever. Like, we may as well forget that. Okay? So when you see this type of news, if they're the best thing you can actually do, I'm not even when you see that type of news, note it and put it away. Like, okay, that's happening. What should that do? That should say, I want to make sure that I educate and create opportunities in my local community to educate our children. Let's make sure we elect officials in our local community that aren't going to do that. That's the best we can do. And then when they do that in statewide, because I live in Texas, so God knows it's probably only a matter of time, we should have locations all around our communities where families are bringing their kids in and we're teaching them the truth. They can't stop us from teaching the truth. So there comes a personal responsibility here, and us using our energy to be mad at a system that was designed for us to be oppressed is just a bad plan and a bad use of energy. Okay, so I digress back from that. What else happened? The next day I saw a receipt and I was customer 666. That did try to get me in my feelings. I know it's, whatever, but again, I realized that that's the old regime. That's the old me. That's this tail end of Mercury started in Mars coming back direct. This is like, have you really healed? Are you finally going to do what's best for you? Are you finally going to trust the process? Yes, I do. Yes. And then the next day, I was tired. I'd been working hard, so I went to the gym in the morning, took a little nap. I'm like, I'm just going to take a little nap, and then I'm going to wake up and get back to doing what I need to do. Well, I wake up, and I'll be damned if I couldn't believe it. I woke up, and I had had a nightmare. It wasn't even a nightmare. It was a dream, though, a disturbing dream about a family member that brought up some trauma from me from a kid that I didn't even remember. I didn't even freaking remember it. I didn't remember it at all. It was my first date that I was gonna, I was gonna go make some sales calls, and just really gung ho. And that just floored me. I woke up and I'm like, what the freak, man? But then I remembered, I'm like, this is coming up for me to realize and understand myself, to heal that, to understand that I'm safe now, that I get to choose and I get to have compassion, and I get to free my, I get to tell my inner child, guess what? I'm here for you now, babe. I'm here for you. I'm not leaving you. Your well-being matters most to me, and that's okay. And I'm here to nurture you. Thank God. Thank God for me. Thank God for me. Thank God for me. Thank God for me. And so I sat, and I did. I put myself first. And then I was able to come to peace with that. But if I would have just kept going and been like, oh no, this is not the time, fuck it, I'm just gonna, let me just stuff it down. I told my sister about it, and she's like, just forget about it. She's like, just forget, I just forget about it. I'm like, but no, that's not the right answer. Now is not the time to just forget about shit because it'll come up at the wrong time. So my point, and as I close, it's for you. All of these things that are coming up are an opportunity for you to heal and to integrate, to show yourself and to show your inner child, and to realize that you are the main character of your life, and that you get to have grace with yourself. And and for those people who do manifest and have been doing the manifestation work, and and then you have some tragedies, because that, I went there too. I'm like, dude, I've been doing everything right, and I like, and this comes up, and I'm like, no, see, what we're supposed to realize is that it's bigger than this life experience, bro. Our calling is so much bigger. like like this is to remind me to respect life and to do it with dignity no matter what. And I'm proud of myself for respecting the life of that cat enough to do the best I could, and to still honor that cat and not pretend like it didn't happen, and all the things that I would have done maybe in the past to try to forget about it. And then it just would have been buried, 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 and would have been like the damn little princess and the pea. You ever heard that story? I'm going to leave with that. The princess and the pea. If you could think of traumas, things that happen to you, like the princess and the pea, there's a story, it's an old folklore or whatever, that they were looking for the princess of this kingdom or whatever, right? And they knew the only way they knew that it was going to be the actual princess, that it was the real princess, is because she would be so sensitive. She would be so sensitive that they would have 10 mattresses stacked up and a little pea at the bottom, a pea like a vegetable pea, PEA. And if she slept and got on top of that mattress, she would be able to feel the pea. And that's how they knew it was her. And I like to liken that to our to healing. Like, we want to get every little pebble out as much as we can, because guess what? Then we're light as a feather. And the Egyptians felt like Ma'at was, well, Ma'at is a Egyptian goddess of, and she was the goddess of the afterlife. And she had a feather. And when you died, you came before Ma'at, and I think I'm saying her name right. And then if you put your heart, she was the scales of justice. If you put your heart on the scale, and she put her feather on the other side, and your heart had to be lighter than the feather. And if your heart was lighter than the feather, then you got to go to the afterlife. And if not, you were stuck, I guess, which I'm like, no, I'm trying to go. Ascend me, you know what I mean? Let me resurrect me, you know what I'm saying? Let me ascend. I don't, like, lay your burdens down, do things in integrity when nobody's watching, because it's you and you. It's you and you. Okay? So that's it. I hope that helped. I hope I got down. I think I covered everything. So if you're an empath, if you're an empathic person, please just know that your empathy is your superpower. Don't you can be in this world, but don't be of this world. There's a reason that you're empathic and you feel everything. And be and honor yourself, honor your love, honor your heart. Don't hide from your emotions. Feel them. Do whatever it takes to heal, heal, heal. Because the more we feel and the more that we feel, the more we honor and treat ourselves as sacred, treat life as sacred, and the more we will manifest what we truly desire because we won't be so bogged down with what we've done wrong or what we don't want. So, if you want to have a conversation, I'm going to put in the description box after this. I'm going to put my high five to the vibe. I wanted to invite you all to my abundance crew. Okay. Hashtag abundance crew. And this is a community where we talk about these kind of conversations all the time. A safe space for you to talk about your experiences as you're going through them. It's really helpful to have people that really give a shift about what you're going through. It's basically where your professional development meets your spiritual ascension and your spiritual awakening. Okay, that's what the abundance crew is all about. And we find that as we heal, we open up to the possibilities and we allow ourselves to be ourselves and bring our full creativity forward. And that's what we need in life. It's only $20.23. It's a one time $20.23. I want to invite you. You can cash app that to $ creation box on Cash App. So that's $ creation box. And I would love to have you there. I will have the details in the chat. Now, when you pay for that, it's an investment. Actually, it's an investment. You're sowing a seed in your belief, and it's the step. You're taking a step from where you are to where you believe is possible for you. You'll be surrounded with a community of people that really are doing the same, so you don't have to go it alone. And we go deep in there. So come through, tell your friends. If you use the creation box, there's going to be another link because as a sales confidence coach, I actually have a free event called the Scenic Route to Sales Masterclass. It's a free live event. So if you want to come through and really get clear on how to sell your shift, whether that's your, whatever means, modality, mechanism that you might be selling it. If you are on a big mission to deliver a miracle through your message, then pull up and come to the Scenic Route to Sales Masterclass. Absolutely no cost, high value. So get your ticket right, as Michael Jackson would say. And so yeah, I'll have all the links below. It would be an honor to get to meet you, and let's expand. Let's have this conversation. Let's change the energy in which we do things. Let's create a better world together. Much love. Signing off. Michelle M. Trey Hollis. High five to the vibe. Vision board music, vision for the soul. We out here. Peace.